The night the sirens screamed down the empty highway, a single dad named Jack had no idea his life was about to change forever. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He was just a man trying to raise his son and survive one more month. But when he stepped between a billionaire and a wall of police guns, everything he thought he knew about his life, about people, about justice, was turned upside down. And what happened the next morning left the entire neighborhood speechless. 200 luxury cars lined up outside his tiny home. If you believe in karma, kindness, and second chances, stay till the end. This story will touch your heart. And don't forget, your like and subscribe keeps stories like this alive. Jack Miller had worked 3 jobs since his wife passed away 3 years ago. He was a mechanic by day, a part-time delivery driver by night, and on weekends, he volunteered at a veterans shelter. His 10-year-old son, Ethan, was his world. They didn't have much, a small trailer on the edge of town, second-hand clothes, and dreams that always seemed a little too far away, but they had each other. One cold, rainy night, as Jack was driving home from a late delivery, he noticed something strange ahead. A black SUV was stopped on the shoulder of the road. Its headlights flickered, and beside it stood a man in a soaked suit, arguing with 2 police officers. Jack slowed down instinctively. Something about the scene didn't sit right. He saw one officer shove the man roughly against the car. The man shouted, "You're making a mistake. I own the company that donated to your precinct last month." But the officers didn't care. One drew his taser. Jack didn't think, he acted. He pulled over, stepped into the rain, and walked toward them. "Hey, is there a problem here?" he asked, trying to sound calm. The officers turned, one barking, "Move along, sir. This is official business." But Jack saw the fear in the man's eyes. He wasn't resisting, he was scared. "He's unarmed," Jack said quietly, standing between the man and the officers. "You don't need to hurt him. Step back," one officer shouted, pushing Jack. But Jack stood firm. Years of military service had taught him what fear looked like, and this wasn't a criminal. Something was off. "If you're arresting him," Jack said, "you better have a reason." A moment of tense silence passed before one of the officers grabbed the billionaire's wallet and glanced inside. The name froze him. His tone changed immediately. "Sir, I didn't realize." The rain fell harder as the truth dawned on them. This wasn't just some man. This was Liam Rook, one of the most influential tech billionaires in the country. Jack escorted Liam to his car as the police awkwardly backed off. Liam thanked him quietly, voice shaking. "You had no idea who I was, and yet you stepped in." "Why?" Jack shrugged. "Didn't matter who you were. Just looked wrong." Liam stared at him for a moment, then said softly, "Most people look the other way." Jack smiled faintly. "I've had people look away when I needed help. I won't do that to someone else." They parted ways, and Jack drove home, soaked but content that he'd done the right thing. He tucked Ethan into bed and whispered, "Always stand up for what's right, buddy, even if no one's watching." The next morning, the sound of engines filled the neighborhood. Not one, not 2, but hundreds. Ethan ran to the window. "Dad, you gotta see this." Outside, the narrow street shimmered with the reflections of chrome and glass. Rows upon rows of luxury cars, Ferraris, Rolls-Royces, Lamborghinis, lined up like a surreal dream. And at the front of the line, Liam Rook stepped out of a white Rolls-Royce Phantom. Cameras followed. Reporters whispered. Neighbors peeked out in shock. Liam smiled. When he saw Jack, "You didn't know who I was. But I know who you are now. A man of honor." He motioned to the cars. "These aren't for show. Each one belongs to a company I own. Each one represents someone who believes in rewarding kindness." Jack stood speechless. "What's going on?" Liam laughed softly. "You protected me when I had no protection. Now I want to protect you and your son. The world needs more people like you." He handed Jack a small envelope. Inside was a letter, a full scholarship for Ethan, a new home, and a job offer managing a charity foundation for veterans. Jack's voice trembled. "I can't accept all this." Liam placed a hand on his shoulder. "You already earned it. And those cars out there. They're here to remind the world, goodness deserves attention, too." Tears welled in Jack's eyes as he looked at Ethan, who was grinning from ear to ear. For once, they didn't have to worry about bills, rent, or the next meal. But more than the gifts, it was the recognition of kindness that moved him most. Weeks later, news channels ran the story everywhere. Single dad defends billionaire, teaches world a lesson in humanity. Jack used his new position to help struggling veterans find jobs, housing, and purpose. He never flaunted his fortune, never changed who he was. Every evening, he still sat with Ethan on the porch, watching the sunset and talking about life. One night, Ethan asked, "Dad, why did Mr. Rook help us?" Jack smiled softly. "Because when you do the right thing, even when no one's watching, sometimes the world does notice." And as they sat together under the fading sky, Jack realized something powerful. It wasn't money, fame, or luck that changed their lives. It was one simple act of courage, and the belief that doing good is never wasted.